Almost 4 years ago, the Battlefield 1 beta was launched, delivering one of the top gaming experiences of the year. In the last quarter of 2016, DICE released Battlefield 1. It was one of the highest anticipated Battlefield games ever. The Battlefield 1 launch trailer currently has more than 60 million views. In the following years, post-launch, they added lots of content for this game. So much content even that Battlefield 5, after years of development and close to 2 years post-release date, still can't compete in terms of content. Today, 4 years after we got our first taste of Battlefield 1, it still sits among the biggest names in the shooter genre and remains one of the best releases in the Battlefield franchise. A little over a year ago, I released a similar video talking about the reasons why Battlefield 1 is still worth buying in 2019. I want to thank all of you for the likes, the subscriptions and the dozens of comments that followed after the release of that video. It still is my most watched video and has reached thousands of viewers. 1 year later, here I am once again, basically confirming my predictions to let you guys know not much has changed. According to Battlefield Tracker, the game still secures thousands of players daily during peak times. Battlefield Tracker has discontinued population tracking as of October 2019, but the latest data showed that the PlayStation 4 sees average peaks of 8,000 to 9,000 players, while Xbox and PC see 6,000 and 10,000 respectively. This means that the PC now has become the biggest platform for Battlefield 1. It also means that the PC population didn't shrink much, while the console population has decreased 50% in the last year. So if you are planning on buying Battlefield 1 and you have the option to buy it for the console or the PC, the best bet would be to buy it for the PC. At the rate the PC population is shrinking, this game could hold on to a decent amount of full service for years to come. At least in the Conquest game mode. At the rate the console communities are shrinking, the game could die much faster. In fact, in certain parts of the world, it's already become hard to find local full servers. For those of you who live in Europe, you have nothing to fear for quite some time, since one of my Twitch viewers has confirmed that he still sees more than enough full servers in Europe every day on his PlayStation 4. The fact that the Battlefield 1 player base is shrinking has nothing to do with bugs, gameplay, the graphics or the price, but rather the way DICE is doing everything in their power to promote Battlefield 5, and that includes lots of advertising for Battlefield 5 in the Battlefield 1 game menus. Of course it makes sense that they want to promote their latest game, but they have done so quite aggressively due to the fact that Battlefield 5 hasn't come close to the success of Battlefield 1. In Battlefield 5 they are constantly changing the time to kill, and in the past year they've also added a rather unsuccessful Battle Royale game mode and maps like Pacific Storm and Wake Island to provide some sort of nostalgia when playing Battlefield 5, since these maps are just revamps of older maps in the Battlefield franchise. On top of that, 4 years after the release, EA is still not giving all premium content for free, making it quite expensive for existing players to buy the expansions. In many cases, buying Battlefield 1 Revolution as a complete new game is less expensive than upgrading the base game with all the premium content. If EA and DICE actually cared about their community, they would have made all the premium content available for everyone a long time ago, since the current versions and pricing options can be very confusing for new players and are dividing the community. I still come across new players that bought Battlefield 1 recently without all the premium content, which means they got ripped off, since Battlefield 1 Revolution can be bought for the same price with all the content included. One of the most frustrating things that happened recently is that one of the latest Battlefield 5 patches broke the Battlefield platoons in Battlefield 1, making it impossible for Battlefield 1 players to stop or start to represent their platoon if they don't have Battlefield 4 or Battlefield 5 installed. This is because DICE does not build every game from the ground up, and is sharing resources between Battlefield 4, Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5. At the time of recording this video, the bug does seem to be fixed, but only after months of complaints from the Battlefield 1 clans that are still actively recruiting new players. Another thing that impacts the Battlefield 1 player base is the fact that other franchises have already released one or more titles since the Battlefield 1 release, like Call of Duty for example. And since the competitive game mode in Battlefield 1 never actually took off, it also disappeared from the competitive scene completely. When you look at the streaming activity, only a few dozen streamers are still playing Battlefield 1 on a daily basis. On YouTube, The Broken Machine and a few others are still managing to get thousands of views on their Battlefield 1 videos, but that's about it. Most other streamers and YouTubers have moved on to other games, which is of course a logical decision based on the fact that it's very hard to grow or earn money with content of a game with a rather small player base. Today you'll be able to find Battlefield 1 Revolution for $10 to $15 or euros. That's a great deal for hours, days, weeks, months and perhaps even years of fun to come. Battlefield 1 now has 31 multiplayer maps, 22 of these added since launch. And as you probably know, Battlefield 5 doesn't even come close to 31 maps. On top of that, it has become much cheaper to buy or upgrade a PC in order to run this game at the highest settings. And for those of you owning an AMD graphics card, you'll be able to bump the graphics quality with Radeon image sharpening as if you were playing on a higher resolution, with little to no performance loss. Nvidia users also can use similar sharpness filters. Xbox One X players can also enjoy Battlefield 1 in 4K thanks to the 4K patch DICE released in 2018. When you look at the graphics in this game, it can still compete with modern titles, Battlefield 5 included. When I stream Battlefield 1, people still comment on how beautiful this 4-year-old game looks. It's like this game was ahead of its time at the time of the release, like Crysis was in 2007. In terms of gameplay, Battlefield 1 is very unique. Where else can you find a shooter that combines weapons with tanks, planes and horses? The fact that all vehicles are pretty slow compared to games that use modern vehicles gives it a unique touch. So let's summarize. Will you be able to find full servers? Yes. Does the game still look amazing compared to modern games? Yes. Is the gameplay still fun and unique? Yes. Is it cheap? Yes. So is Battlefield 1 worth buying in 2020? It sure freaking is. And I'll see you guys on the battlefield.
I'm here. Need fixing up. Give us some ammo, someone.